Is our show, has it run its course? Can they find a new show that's cheaper to make than ours that can do as well?
In the landscape of modern Hollywood, Gary Sinise represents a rare breed of performer whose dedication transcends the boundaries of traditional entertainment. Known for his powerful portrayals of complex characters in films like Forrest Gump and Apollo 13, Sinise has cultivated a reputation built on rigorous preparation, unwavering reliability, and an extraordinary commitment to honoring those who wear the uniform. His work with the Gary Sinise Foundation and countless hours spent supporting wounded warriors have established him as more than an actor. He's become a bridge between Hollywood and America's military community. This steadfast dedication to both artistic excellence and meaningful service has occasionally created friction with colleagues whose priorities Sinise viewed as misaligned with his core values. Rather than typical industry squabbles over billing or creative differences, these tensions arose from deeper philosophical disagreements about professional responsibility, authentic advocacy, and the proper use of celebrity influence. Sinise's extensive work with veterans has given him a unique lens through which to evaluate the difference between genuine commitment and hollow gestures. The professional disputes we explore reveal how Sinise's uncompromising standards for both craft and character sometimes put him at odds with fellow performers whose methods he considered either unprofessional or inauthentic. These conflicts illuminate a man who measures success not by fame or fortune, but by the integrity of the work and the positive impact on those who truly matter. 6. Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins' theatrical political activism and privileged approach to social causes created a fundamental ideological conflict with Gary Sinise's grassroots military advocacy and practical service to veterans. The towering actor-director, despite his undeniable talent and progressive credentials, embodied everything Sinise found problematic about Hollywood performers who confuse public posturing with genuine commitment to meaningful change. The friction first emerged during the early 2000s when both actors were involved in various charitable and political causes, but through vastly different approaches to activism and public service. According to sources within The Hollywood Reporter, Sinise allegedly grew frustrated with Robbins' tendency to make grand political statements without demonstrating sustained personal sacrifice or hands-on involvement. The philosophical divide became apparent when Robbins' abstract political theater background contrasted sharply with Sinise's concrete focus on individual military families and their immediate needs. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer observed, "Gary understood that real change happens through personal relationships and sustained effort, while Tim appeared to believe that public statements and symbolic gestures were sufficient." The professional tension crystallized when Robbins made statements about America's military involvement that Sinise interpreted as disrespectful to the men and women he worked tirelessly to support. He later reflected, "Some people practice activism from the comfort of their platforms. Others get their hands dirty doing the actual work. The difference becomes obvious when you spend time with the people you claim to care about." 5. Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner's star-powered ego and controlling approach to filmmaking created persistent professional friction with Gary Sinise's ensemble-minded craftsmanship and collaborative spirit during their overlapping careers in military and historical dramas. The Academy Award-winning director star, despite his box office success and cultural influence, represented everything Sinise found problematic about performers who prioritized personal aggrandizement over collective storytelling excellence. The tension emerged during the 1990s when both actors were pursuing similar roles in prestige war films and historical epics that required authentic emotional weight and ensemble dynamics. According to sources within Variety, Sinise allegedly expressed frustration with Costner's tendency to reshape projects around his own star persona, rather than serving the material's larger themes. Military consultant Dale Dye recalled, "Gary approached every role with respect for the real people being portrayed, while Kevin seemed more focused on creating memorable moments for his own character." The creative disagreement intensified when Costner's need for creative control contrasted sharply with Sinise's belief in directorial authority and collaborative decision-making. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer observed, "Gary understood that great films come from everyone contributing their best work, while Kevin appeared to view other actors as supporting elements in his personal showcase. The professional conflict reached its peak when Costner made statements about the importance of star power in attracting audiences to serious subject matter, comments that Sinise interpreted as dismissive of authentic storytelling. He later stated, "Real stories deserve more respect than becoming vehicles for someone's ego. When you're more interested in being the hero than honoring the heroes, you've missed the point entirely." 4. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage's eccentric performance methods and unpredictable creative choices created a fundamental artistic conflict with Gary Sinise's disciplined approach and commitment to authentic storytelling during their parallel careers in dramatic cinema. The Academy Award-winning actor, despite his undeniable talent and box office appeal, embodied everything Sinise found disruptive about performers who prioritize personal expression over collaborative service to the material. The discord first surfaced during the late 1990s when both actors were being considered for similar roles requiring emotional intensity and psychological depth in war-related productions. According to sources within Entertainment Weekly, Sinise allegedly questioned Cage's tendency to pursue bizarre character choices that drew attention to his technique rather than serving the story's needs. Acting coach Susan Batson recalled, "Gary believed great acting should be invisible to the audience, while Nicolas seemed to think every performance was an opportunity to showcase his range through unusual interpretations." The philosophical divide became apparent when Cage's improvisational tendencies and offbeat delivery style contrasted sharply with Sinise's belief in meticulous preparation and respectful collaboration. Director Michael Bay observed, "Gary approached every scene with military precision and respect for his fellow actors, while Nicolas appeared to view each moment as a chance for creative experimentation." The professional friction reached its zenith when Cage made statements about the importance of taking creative risks in performance, comments that Sinise interpreted as justification for self-indulgent behavior. He later reflected, "Real courage in acting means serving something bigger than yourself. When your risks are about getting noticed rather than telling the truth, you're not being brave, you're just being selfish." 3. Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's reputation for on-set difficulty and prima donna behavior created an inevitable professional collision with Gary Sinise's collaborative spirit and military-inspired discipline during their encounters in ensemble war films. The method actor, despite his undeniable talent and intense preparation, embodied everything Sinise found toxic about performers who confused artistic commitment with disrespectful conduct toward fellow professionals. The friction first emerged during the 1990s when both actors were working in similar military-themed productions that required seamless teamwork and mutual respect among cast members. According to sources within The Hollywood Reporter, Sinise allegedly grew frustrated with Kilmer's tendency to remain in character between takes and create unnecessary tension on set. Military advisor Harry Humphreys recalled, "Gary understood that real soldiers depend on each other and treat their brothers with respect, while Val seemed to think conflict and hostility were necessary for authentic performance." The philosophical disagreement intensified when Kilmer's demanding behavior and refusal to collaborate effectively contrasted sharply with Sinise's belief in ensemble unity and professional courtesy. Director Tony Scott observed, "Gary made everyone around him feel valued and supported, while Val had a way of making every scene about his own internal process, regardless of how it affected others." The professional tension reached its breaking point when Kilmer made statements defending his intense methods as necessary for artistic truth, comments that Sinise interpreted as excuses for unprofessional behavior. He later stated, "Real commitment means making everyone better, not making everyone miserable. When your process requires treating people badly, you're not serving the art, you're just serving yourself." 2. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's volatile temperament and explosive on-set behavior created an inevitable clash with Gary Sinise's steady professionalism and military-inspired discipline during their overlapping careers in dramatic cinema. The Oscar-winning actor, despite his commanding screen presence and intense commitment to roles, represented everything Sinise found problematic about performers who use passion as an excuse for destructive and disrespectful conduct toward colleagues and crew members. The tension first surfaced during the early 2000s when both actors were pursuing similar roles in war films and ensemble dramas that required emotional intensity balanced with collaborative respect. According to sources within Variety, Sinise allegedly expressed concern about Crowe's reputation for intimidating behavior and unpredictable outbursts that disrupted production schedules. Stunt coordinator Vic Armstrong recalled, "Gary brought the same calm leadership he'd learned from military advisors, while Russell seemed to think that shouting and throwing tantrums made him more authentic as a tough character." The philosophical divide became apparent when Crowe's aggressive approach to character preparation contrasted sharply with Sinise's belief in controlled intensity and professional courtesy. Director Ridley Scott observed, "Gary understood that real strength comes from discipline and respect for others, while Russell appeared to confuse volatility with emotional truth." The professional friction reached its peak when Crowe made statements defending his confrontational methods as necessary for honest performance, comments that Sinise interpreted as justification for bullying behavior. He later reflected, "True warriors protect the people around them and maintain their composure under pressure. When your intensity comes at the expense of others' well-being, you're not being strong, you're just being selfish." 1. Sean Penn. Sean Penn's intense method-acting approach and confrontational political activism created a fundamental philosophical conflict with Gary Sinise's disciplined professionalism and genuine military advocacy during their parallel careers in socially conscious cinema. The two-time Academy Award winner, despite his undeniable talent and commitment to social causes, embodied everything Sinise found problematic about performers who confused self-righteous posturing with authentic service and meaningful change. The friction first emerged during the early 2000s when both actors were involved in politically charged projects but pursued vastly different approaches to activism and professional conduct. According to sources within The Hollywood Reporter, Sinise allegedly grew frustrated with Penn's tendency to make inflammatory public statements while demonstrating little sustained commitment to the causes he championed. Veterans coordinator Tom Hanks recalled, "Gary spent years quietly building relationships with military families and providing real support, while Sean seemed more interested in making headlines with controversial political positions." The ideological divide became apparent when Penn's aggressive advocacy methods contrasted sharply with Sinise's patient, hands-on approach to supporting veterans and military families. Director Clint Eastwood observed, "Gary understood that real change happens through consistent action and personal sacrifice, while Sean appeared to believe that public outrage and media attention were sufficient." These professional conflicts reveal Sinise's unwavering commitment to authentic service over performative gestures and collaborative respect over ego-driven behavior. His principled approach defended genuine craftsmanship against Hollywood's self-indulgent tendencies. Subscribe for more entertainment revelations.